She swore lunch with her ex was just a friend date and begged me to trust her. But when I saw the truth online, she ended up begging me not to walk away. I am 34, living in Denver, and for a little more than a year I had been sharing my life with Samantha. We met through friends, found ourselves clicking instantly, and soon built a comfortable rhythm together. We shared a place not far from the city park, walked to coffee shops most mornings, bought groceries every Thursday, and spent weekends picking trails to explore. Nothing flashy, nothing grand, just a gentle flow of life that felt simple and safe. Last Friday, as we sat together at our slightly wobbly dining table eating pasta, with the window cracked open and the background sounds of a distant siren, a dog barking, and a bus braking, Samantha twirled her fork slowly, took a quiet breath, and spoke as if she were announcing the weather. "Hey, just so you know, I'm grabbing lunch with Ethan on Sunday. You remember Ethan, right? My ex." I froze, my fork suspended midair. "Sorry, what?" I asked. She looked unbothered, calm. "We've stayed friends," she continued. "He's in town for a few days. We thought we'd catch up. Catch up with the man she once told me wasn't right for her. The man whose name still floated around in stories from her early 20s. I tried to keep my voice even. "Are you calling it a date?" She shrugged slightly. "It's just a friend date. Not romantic." The phrase landed hard. Not because of the word date alone, but because of how easily she said it, like I was supposed to simply nod and pass the salt. I looked at the table, noticing a bubble pop in the tomato sauce, the clock ticking steadily behind us. Inside, I wanted to be fair, to be mature, to trust my partner like an adult. But something felt off. Not dramatic, just tilted, slightly uneven. So I asked, "Would you be okay if I went on a friend date with my ex?" She paused. Not for long, but long enough. Then she said, "That's different." The word different hung between us. The room didn't change, but the air did. My mind flashed back to our first month together when we had agreed on simple rules without ever labeling them rules. Tell the truth, be kind, keep things clear. I tried to find that ground again. "When did you talk to him?" I asked. She answered casually, "A few days ago. He texted. It's no big deal. You should trust me." Her voice was calm, not angry, as if what she said should be obvious. I nodded slightly, even though inside I didn't feel ready to agree with anything. "Do whatever you think is right," I said quietly. "I just need you to know this doesn't sit well with me." She leaned over, kissed my cheek, and whispered, "You're overthinking. I'll text you after." We finished dinner, cleaned up together, put on a playlist, and did the dishes side by side. Outwardly, it looked like a normal evening. Inwardly, my thoughts turned restless. Later in bed, I stared at the ceiling, repeating to myself that people have pasts, that people can stay friends, that I shouldn't overreact. But the word date kept looping in my head, not because I thought she'd run back to him in one lunch, but because of that quick pause when I asked about my ex, and her fast, "That's different." Saturday was quiet. We did laundry, strolled through the market on 17th Street, bought peaches, and watched a movie that night. If someone filmed us without sound, we would appear like any normal couple living a calm routine. Yet inside, I noticed small details. Her phone lighting up, the half smile when she typed, the way she looked away during the credits. By Sunday, she dressed nicely, wearing a perfume from our first month together. She smiled, waved, and said, "I'll text you after." Then she left at noon. I tried to distract myself, read a book but reread the same line 4 times, clean dishes that were already clean. By evening, still no text. Around 5 o'clock, my chest grew heavy. I finally opened Instagram. Ethan had posted a story just an hour earlier. A dimly lit restaurant, candles, 2 glasses of wine, and across the table, Samantha smiling and laughing. A laugh I knew too well. She wasn't tagged, but I recognized her instantly. The necklace, the blue shirt she wore that day, and behind her, a small bouquet of red roses. The same roses I had seen in her car earlier that week, which she had claimed were a gift from work. In that moment, something in me went still. Not furious, just quietly still. Like the part of me that always gave her the benefit of the doubt had finally run out of reasons. She came home around 7 that evening. Keys jingling, voice cheerful as she called out, "Hey!" She dropped her bag, slipped off her shoes, and walked toward me with a smile. "It was good catching up," she said lightly, as if she'd returned from lunch with a coworker. I nodded without comment, sitting beside her as she curled up with a blanket and began scrolling her phone. But inside, something had shifted. It wasn't jealousy anymore. It was the quiet realization that respect had begun to fade. Later that night, as she scrolled beside me in bed, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. She wasn't lying with words. She was lying with silence, with a smile that brushed off my concerns like they were nothing. The next morning, while she showered, I picked up her phone from the nightstand. I didn't want to be the kind of person who snooped, but deep down I already knew something was broken. In her gallery, I found a photo from yesterday. Ethan had taken it. Samantha was mid-laugh, her eyes soft, tilted toward him. No group around them, just the two of them, and she had marked it as a favorite. When she came out of the shower, hair wrapped in a towel, humming, I finally asked, "Do you want to be with me or with him?" She looked shocked. "What? That's ridiculous. You're being paranoid." I shook my head. "No. Ridiculous is calling it a friend date. Ridiculous is hiding a photo you saved because you liked it so much. Ridiculous is pretending you don't know how this looks." Her face tightened. "Ethan and I have history," she said. "That doesn't just disappear. But it doesn't mean I want him back." I realized then that I wasn't fighting Ethan. I was fighting a chapter she had never closed. And that was a battle I couldn't win. So I stopped explaining, stopped chasing, stopped carrying the weight of keeping us balanced. My silence became my answer. For the rest of the week, I pulled back. I hit the gym early, grabbed coffee alone, met friends without inviting her. She noticed quickly. "Why are you so distant? Are you mad at me?" she asked through texts. I replied politely but briefly. By Thursday, she found me at work, eyes wide, voice trembling. "What's going on? You're shutting me out." I looked at her calmly and said, "You told me to trust you." "I did. But you made it clear that how I felt didn't matter. So now I'm showing you what it looks like when I stop caring too." She blinked, stunned. "So you're just done?" I shook my head. "I'm done begging for respect." She fell silent, and in that quiet I understood that whatever we had was already gone. That night, I cooked dinner for one, played a quiet playlist, and felt the first hint of peace. Days later, she showed up at my door, eyes red from crying. "I don't want to lose you," she whispered. "I'll block him. I'll do whatever it takes. But apologies after the damage feel like tape on cracked glass. You can cover the break, but you'll always see it." I told her I needed space, and eventually, I packed her belongings into 2 boxes. I dropped them at her apartment with a note. "You wanted history. I wanted a future. We were never on the same page." When I returned home, the apartment felt lighter. Not empty, but honest. In the following weeks, I focused on myself, quiet mornings, walks in the park, dinners with friends. Samantha reached out a few times, but I no longer felt the need to answer. Because deep down, I knew the truth. The relationship had ended the moment she called lunch with her ex-friend date. It just took me a little longer to admit it. And when people ask what happened between us now, I tell them simply, she wanted to reconnect with her past. I wanted to build a future. Those two paths don't run together. And every time I say it, I feel the same calm. Not bitterness, not pride, just peace.